someone's going to lose this first set, and it depends on how they handle losing that first set, whether they can come back and win that set, so make it 1 set all. I think on the mental side of things, I'm sort of leaning towards Garbine Muguruza. She doesn't let too much bother her, although she hasn't had a lot to be bothered her about. And Zakopalova certainly shows her emotion. She lets you know how she's feeling, whether she's uptight.
Here's the weather conditions. A perfect day in Hobart. The breeze not a factor. 23 degrees, quite comfortable for the players out on court. And this will be a wonderful spectacle. You still see the fans making their way in. There have been good crowds all week.
An interesting thing too, just with the coin toss, that Klara actually won the coin toss and she elected to receive. But in her match yesterday against Sam Stosur, she chose to serve first, and then she broke Sam in that second game. So she obviously really highly regards the return of Muguruza, and she feels that she just wants to maybe feel her way into this match, not have so much pressure on her serve, because probably her serve is her weakest shot. Zakopalova, not a lot of pace on it, tends to, on the forehand side, go wide a lot, and the second serve as well. And on the ad side, tends to round a little bit more to the forehand as well.
So I mentioned they played once before. It was in Seoul, the tournament in Seoul. It was on a hard court. Zakopalova 7-6 in the third set. I'm expecting a similar match today, similar styles. And certainly a big moment for both of these players. Garbine Muguruza to get us underway in the final for 2014. I guess it was the only thing with the Muguruza game yesterday. You're talking about that serve. First serve percentage, particularly in the opening set, was down on what she would like.
The other thing too is Zakopalova has been in finals before, so she understands what it's like to be in a final. Big difference between for Garbine Muguruza from playing ITFs to playing WTA events.
What's the mindset, though? How do you control those nerves knowing that you're on the main tour, you've made a final? How do you keep the butterflies under control?
Well, nerves are a good thing. I think if you haven't got nerves, well, then I guess there's something wrong. But it's just how you and getting off to a good start. That's the main important thing.
Looking okay on serve in this opening game.
And not to panic too early if things aren't quite going your way, and having a clear mind that if things aren't going your way, that you're thinking enough to be able to change your game. We saw yesterday with Sam Stosur that she tried to pull the trigger too early and just try and go for winners, and that sort of wasn't really the approach that she probably should have been taking.
Two shaky forehands early on, just looking a little bit tight. Maybe those nerves just coming into play. And an early break point for Klara Zakopalova.
Muguruza does hit the ball very flat off both sides. Zakopalova does get a little bit more spin on her forehand and her backhand. The clearance over the net's a fraction more than Muguruza.
That's better. That's what we saw yesterday. Nice setup on the serve and nicely put away. It was more on the forehand side than the backhand, but both wings worked really well yesterday.
Garbine Muguruza.
Muguruza wins the final today. Her ranking will rise. She'll move into the 40s. We'll have to wait for other results to filter through from some of the other events on the WTA Tour over the last couple of weeks, but there'll be a strong performance, moving from 58 inside the top 50 again. Just missing the line. We're going to see a lot of power hitting from the back of the court. It's going to be one of the themes of the match today.
The thing I like about Zakopalova, though, she goes cross-court a fair bit on her forehand, which is going over the lowest part of the net to the longest part of the court. And when the ball is a bit short, then she'll change direction. You only missed that one by a small margin.
Great depth from Zakopalova.
That was all set up from the great return.
Oh, yes.
Smart.
Very clever from Zakopalova. Another break points.
Well, here's the slice. And obviously, Muguruza can't hit the ball quite as hard, having to get down lower. I mentioned she is a very tall girl.
Busy day for Klara coming up. Not only has she made the singles final, but she's also into the final of the doubles event.
Could be a good payday for her today.
Yes. With her partner Monica Niculescu, who had a good run through both events. And certainly one of the things about playing these lead-up events into a Grand Slam is to get matches in. She's had plenty of match play over the past week. Game been in progress 7 minutes. Muguruza holds. Massive battle in this opening game. Well, managed to turn that rally around, Zakopalova. She was on the back foot, playing from the back of the court, and just gets tremendous depth on her defensive shots to get herself back into the rally.
I can just see a little bit already in this first game that if Muguruza keeps going and keeps the ball going, I can see Zakopalova trying to pull the trigger very quickly, because she gets down on herself and gets agitated, and then she just starts going for the ball. Where earlier on, if she's up and she's winning, she's content to keep the ball. I mean, she keeps hitting the ball, but she's content to keep playing.
Seen plenty of unforced errors off that forehand side early in this match. It'd be an interesting battle. Those heavy forehands. Both players happy to rally with one another.
Well, you're noticing earlier on in the rallies that they're going 3, 4, 5 times back cross court again. They're really waiting for that short ball before they pull that trigger to hit it down the line.
First double faults for the match for Zakopalova.
Already Muguruza, and Zakopalova will be sensing this on the second serve. Muguruza is standing quite far inside the baseline to take the second serve, take it nice and early.
Another double faults, and you're right, it's that pressure that's put on by missing that first serve. We saw it in the match against Sam Stosur yesterday, that second serve is waiting to be hit. And certainly from Muguruza's point of view, it has to be controlled aggression. So Zakopalova holds. We're 1 game all in the opening sets. It is sitting up there. It's waiting to be hit, but the fact that Muguruza is always trying for line, really heavy forehand. She'll have time to get herself into position, but still needs to execute it.
And it's a second serve from Zakopalova that doesn't have much pace on it, so really Muguruza has to create her own pace. She's got to get a little bit more topspin on that forehand. Just notice after every single point that Zakopalova loses, she looks at her coach.
Yep. That's more of what we saw yesterday. A bit more patient, just waited for the right forehand to drill up the line.
I see.
There's the look again. First ace of the match.
That's beautiful forehand there from Zakopalova.
Using the pace from Muguruza just to direct that ball cross court. Still one more game point. Muguruza holds. On serve, opening sets. Muguruza 2-1 after 15 minutes. An intriguing battle already in the opening 3 games. We can see that Zakopalova is trying to mix things up a little bit. So a little bit of that power game from Muguruza. It's setting up for an excellent final.
Well, they both hit both hard and flat. So at this stage, it's just who's making the error first. Games have been tight. There's really no wind today, so...
No, it's ideal. 23 degrees, a bit of cloud cover occasionally. Very comfortable for the players. And it can get very windy here at the Domain Tennis Centre, but not an issue. Started off with a wet start to the week. But it's gotten a lot better from there. Crowd still filing in. A packed house, the Domain Tennis Centre in Hobart. On serve in the opening sets. If you haven't seen Klara Zakopalova play before, you'll know that you'll find out very quickly that it's just a running conversation throughout the match, a one-way conversation between her and her coach, Igor Bruckner, who's just on the side of the court.
I think every opportunity that Muguruza gets on a second serve, we notice that she takes one step forward and moves into the court. She's got to start moving around just a little bit, and I think that she will get quite a few double faults from Zakopalova.
Didn't really have to move at all for that forehand. Muguruza picked it up early, say right on the baseline.
It's right in the hitting zone of Muguruza.
3 break points what we'll see with this first serve from Zakopalova is if the first serve percentage drops and she's hitting a lot of second serve, she'll take the pace off the first serve and just try and place it. And there is the break of serve. First for the match, Muguruza 3-1 in the opening set.
Well, Muguruza really will want to consolidate the break by winning this service game.
And Zakopalova will know that any ground stroke that's even remotely short will be punished today. That's the depth she's looking for. Right near the baseline. Muguruza stands up on the baseline for her rally, sometimes slightly inside. Got to go for that depth, having Muguruza try and dig out some half volleys from the baseline. Very precise from Zakopalova in the corner.
Zakopalova just finding a bit of range here, and there we see that height that you're looking for. You get the height over the net, you get the depth. Zakopalova just been a little impatient in that rally.
An opportunity to break back.
It's not a bad return from Zakopalova. Doesn't always have to be hard and flat. We saw that it went through the middle there. Got plenty of height again, got the depth.
Just missing.
Yeah, Muguruza really feeds off the pace. I think sometimes if she can throw a few in what we call moon balls, just to give Zakopalova a little bit of time, something different for Muguruza to look at.
Oh. Got into a great position. Just swinging on that forehand volley.
Well, this probably should have been a drive volley. Come around the side of the ball.
Another break point for Zakopalova. Couldn't finish it off. We go break for break. It's Muguruza 3 games to 2 in this opening sets. And we have a coach on court. Igor Bruckner is stepping onto court.
Proč nevěříš? Ale musíš si věřit, proč? Je to 2-3, neprohráváš. Máš spoustu šancí, máš vytvořené v těch dlouhých výměnách i přetlačíš, a dostaneš krátký bal na milenu a chceš to urvat jenom rukou. Proběhni ho, ať tě prohodí, tak vidíš stejně
to nechybá.
Tak to radši zkus se trošku odváhat a pojď na síť. Teďka to perfektně bylo a švíhej ten servis. Švíhej.
What he would be saying in a nutshell, basically, it's all to do with her serve. Her ground strikes are fine. I think sometimes she's just choosing to pull the trigger just a little bit too early. Like we said, maybe just slow the first serve down a little bit so she doesn't feel like she's under pressure, having to hit all second serves the whole time, that really are not all that effective. I'd like to see Muguruza, though.
So Igor Bruckner having a chat with Klara Zakopalova in the change of ends. Talking about the pace of the match and pace of the ground strokes from Muguruza, and Zakopalova mixing it up, but also taking time between points. Muguruza is a very fast player, likes to get through things quickly. On serve. Zakopalova serving at 2-3. Interesting draws for both of these players at the Australian Open, with Klara Zakopalova playing Samantha Stosur again. Well, I thought that might have drifted back late. It didn't. Garbine Muguruza will play the 24th seed Kai Kanepi of Estonia. To get coached like that as well.
Just exposing the movement from Muguruza. Tall girl.
First ace, Zakopalova holds to love, 3 games all in the opening set. Interestingly, Muguruza in the same part of the draw as Caroline Wozniacki, the 10 seed, and Muguruza had a big win over Wozniacki last year at the big event on the WTA Tour in Miami.
Wozniacki's only played 1 match this Australian summer. Pulled out of Brisbane and then lost first round in Sydney. Muguruza is not your typical Spanish player. And when I say the typical Spanish player, they have a lot of feel. A lot of them have got slice backhands. They drop shot. They muck you up. Where it looks like Muguruza's being brought up on the hard courts.
Understandably, her favourite surface is hard court.
I wouldn't be surprised if she spent a fair bit of time in America.
Well, she actually was born in Venezuela and had a decision to make as to whether to play for Venezuela or play for Spain. Her mother was from Venezuela, her father was from Spain, so had to make a decision and chose the Spanish system. And what a wonderful system they've had. So many great players over the years. I don't think Carlos Suarez Navarro will mind having some company up the top of the rankings.
Barney and Vinci. Got a great Fed Cup team.
Good fights from Muguruza. Holds to love. We continue on serve in the opening set. Muguruza 4 games to 3. So after a couple of breaks of serve, both players holding serve there.
Terrific venue, this Hobart venue. The court's really nice and compact. You feel that the crowd are quite close. It just has a really nice feel about it. Not to mention the beautiful view.
Yes. On a clear day, and see for miles.
Not that you're really looking at the view when you're playing in a final.
So on serve in this opening set. Muguruza 4 games to 3. An entertaining start. Capacity crowd at the Domain Tennis Centre in Hobart. And serving with new tennis balls.
Zakopalova's looking at her coach saying, was it out? I think it actually got the back of the line or right on the line, because it certainly skidded off. Well, there we see the umpire just looking at Zakopalova's coach there because he yelled out something.
Yeah, sitting just onto the side of the court, up the end that Zakopalova is at the moment.
That's not a great mistake there from Muguruza. It's a second serve. You've got to make those second serves.
That's loose on the forehand from Zakopalova. Trying to just guide that ball up the line.
Well, that's what new balls can do. They really fly. So you've really got to keep that acceleration of the racket head speed going through.
Great forehand up the line. Break of serve. Muguruza leading 5 games to 3 now in the opening sets.
Well, that's just too good for Muguruza. There's nothing wrong with this shot from Zakopalova.
Been in progress 33 minutes. It's been an entertaining set of tennis.
Must be an interesting one to see how Muguruza serves this one out. You just notice there with Muguruza, she doesn't have the racket head speed going through the ball. She just guides it. And that's why it really floats long.
And that's talking about that floating ball just missing the baseline. The pattern of the match has been players holding serve, then consecutive breaks, consecutive holds, consecutive breaks. Took one step across to hit that forehand. Good attacking play from Zakopalova. 3 break points. And there it is, another break of serve. Muguruza is still leading 5 games to 4, but we're back on serve in the opening sets.
So important for Muguruza when she gets the break that she wins the first point. I think most times that she's had, well, the 2 times that she's tried to break the ball, she has broken and she's turned around to serve. I think she's lost the first point. So just in a mental capacity, you're behind the 8 ball.
It's been remarkable in that sense that we've had the patterns. So both players been pretty comfortable on serve, then all of a sudden it switches again and we have the breaks of serve.
And this is Muguruza's toughest set. As we mentioned, she's only dropped 18 games for the whole tournament. That's including qualifying.
So holding serve, the key for Klara Zakopalova to stay in this opening set.
Amazing how changing the pace when you're not trying to change the pace, but obviously that was a floater and it caused the error.
Not missing by much. Great shot. Zakopalova trying something different.
Well, Muguruza, she's not in shot here, but just held it a little bit and waited till Zakopalova had decided which way she was going to go and anticipated well, Muguruza.
That's what will happen to most of the second serves from Zakopalova.
Well, that's what it really deserved, that second serve.
Right in the middle of the service box.
And I'm glad she went cross. That's the percentage return.
Set point. An entertaining set of tennis, and it goes the way of the Spaniard, Garbine Muguruza. 6 games to 4 in 40 minutes.
Well, I think Muguruza's called for her coach to come out.
Leo Manquistidor. The feedback would be mostly positive from the Muguruza side of things. As you said, Nicole, her toughest set of tennis for the whole tournament. Zakopalova is taking a bathroom break. She's gone.
She's gone.
Tirar. Cuanto más tires tú, ¿vale? Más le cuesta a ella mover la mano con la derecha. Si tiene más tiempo, la tira mejor y te cuesta más, porque aquí se nota, parece que no se nota un huevo el viento. Cuando juegas en aquel lado, tienes que jugar mucho más con la mano. Ya, que sí, escucha un momento, atiende, ya sé que te cuesta, pero digo que hay veces, a veces que lo estás haciendo muy bien, que dices, hostia, la cuido un poco más. No tengas tanto miedo en... Mientras lo sepas, ya sabes, no tengas tanto miedo en cuidarla un poco más, y es muy difícil que te desborde de este lado, ¿vale? Pero si lo sabes, ya está. Su segundo saque. Atiende un momento, atiende, no te aceleres, escucha un segundo. Hay tiempo. Aquí te has metido. Dices que es muy lento porque la esperas atrás.
So the end of the set, Garbine Muguruza taking the first set 6 games to 4. Leo Manquistidor out on court. And we were trying to translate our Spanish. Nicole, we've been working on it across this week. You can join the conversation too at Hobart Tennis on Twitter. But what would the coach be saying to Garbine? It was a pretty good opening set.
Well, he's very calm. You notice that he's using his hands and he's explaining obviously where the forehands are going or when to change direction on the ball. Maybe just getting a few more percentage of first serves in.
Klara Zakopalova taking a bathroom break. That gives us a good opportunity to get into the set highlights. And it was a real arm wrestle early on in the match. And then we had some patterns of players holding serve comfortably and then a couple of breaks along the way. But both players seemed to settle reasonably well.
Well, the big difference for me in this first set is that Muguruza and her serve, she just got a few more free points off that first serve, where Zakopalova struggled with the percentage on the first serve, and that second serve really is just not going to get it done.
And the early nerves settled quickly for Muguruza. It only took her about a game or two to get into the match. And here are the stats from the opening set. Good first serve percentage for both players. And it's that second serve from Zakopalova that's always going to get punished.
And it's tough for Muguruza too, because it has nothing on it. She has to generate her own pace. And it was good to see she was going cross on those forehands. I'd like to see her, even on the ad side, move around a little bit more and use that forehand, hit it off, or hit it back to Zakopalova's forehand, open up the court a little bit more. But she's travelling along nicely.
It's a new innovation, well, reasonably new innovation on the WTA Tour, having coaches coming out onto court. It's been around for a couple of years. This is occurring at the change of ends. It's still going. This is a live picture.
Well, this is interesting to me because obviously the set's finished and Zakopalova's gone to have a bathroom break. But this is a long time for a coach to be sitting on the side of the court. Normally it's a lot shorter. They get them coming out when the set's not over.
So the question then, because you've been in both positions, both as a player and as a coach, does the longer break actually work? As a player, do you need to be getting messages for about 5 minutes, or would you prefer to just quickly get the information out and then from the player's point of view also receive just a few quick notes?
Well, I guess there's the Mona boat coming through. I saw that this morning on my jog. But with the coach coming on the court, I guess it's only successful if your player can interpret what he's wanting you to do. If they don't put into practice of the match of what your coach is trying to tell you to do, then it's pointless them being out there. You have to be in that clear headspace to be able to change the game. Well, Muguruza doesn't really need to change too much, having won that first set 6-4. Okay, a couple of things tweak here and there.
But it's been quite a lengthy break between the sets. So it's allowed Muguruza's coach to be talking for a solid 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more with the change of sets. So a lot of messages going to Garbine Muguruza. I imagine there'd be a lot of repetition as well, just to emphasise the key points. And there would be a handful of points, maybe 3 or 4 main ones that should be focusing on in the second set.
This is a big game for Muguruza. A must hold. You've won the first set 6-4. You've got the momentum going your way. Must hold here for Muguruza.
From Zakopalova's point of view, it's the first set that she's dropped for the tournament, as we've been talking about earlier on, but she can turn this around very quickly.
I'll just notice a little bit of a breeze there.
Tends to gust up just at various stages through points and then drop off again. Too powerful.
And that's all set up with a terrific first serve. Use the wind. Too good.
It is on the backhand side, and Zakopalova trying to keep away from that Muguruza forehand, but she's got a good weapon on the backhand side too.
This is a tough shot. That's really threading the needle on that one.
Game points.
Oh, there you go.
Got lucky there as well. Defensive stretch for Muguruza. And holds in the opening game of the second set.
This is a game of a bit of strategy here, because really Zakopalova should maybe call for the coach just to try and settle her down, give her a little bit more direction. But do I take it now, or do I take it a little bit later in the set?
We haven't seen as much slice from Zakopalova in the last couple of games. Really hitting the ball flat. Want to get in those sort of rallies with Muguruza. It's going to be tough to win them.
It's just looking up here too. There's a 11-year age gap between these two. Muguruza 20. And Zakopalova, 31.
Again, just punishing that serve, Zakopalova.
It's just the perfect returns on a serve like that. You're just giving yourself a great chance. You've got so much court to work with.
Break points early in this second set. And it's all in one direction now.
Well, that forehand down the line was going to go out if it went over anyway, but interesting times ahead here for Zakopalova. Muguruza just needs to keep the same positive attitude, not trying to do too much too soon.
It's time to switch to plan B. How can Klara Zakopalova mix things up?
I don't think there is a plan B for Zakopalova. It's not like she's going to come to the net, although she obviously is in the final of the doubles. Maybe throw in a drop shot, maybe a slice, hit and come in. Got to try something different.
Well, it's about breaking up that Muguruza rhythm
pattern
that she's in now.
That's a start. Good body serve.
73% of first serves into play for Muguruza. Lifted that percentage from last night, winning 58% of those points. Game points for 3-love.
Well, that looked out to me.
I think Muguruza's asking the question. It's those little opportunities that Zakopalova needs to take. And she hasn't had a short ball like that for a while.
Let's see how she handles that one. Next point.
Handles it well. Muguruza back on track. 3 games to love in the second set after taking the first 6 games to 4.
Well, I think the coach is coming out now.
Igor Bruckner's coming out. And it's time for a revision of tactics.
nějaký balón na midline. Nemůžeš ji přetlačit. Byl jsem tady přesně
It's going to be interesting to see if she actually listens, if she doesn't answer back to him.
Jedinej šok, jedinej kraťas. Prostě neuděláš jedinou změnu. Prostě jak to chceš přetlačit. Ale z jakých nízkých? Já se nebavím, když zabije takovýhle winner, toto by nechytl ani nadál. Ale prostě máš tady balon na midline 3krát v každém gamu, jedinkrát jdeš na síť. Jedinkrát jdeš na síť a hraješ backhand koláně v tom.
I think I'm just watching her body language more than anything here, because you can kind of get an indication of when they're thinking clearly. But I mean, she looks pretty calm here. It's whether she's going to take on board. But Muguruza's just playing. She's playing great tennis. She's getting terrific depth.
So an interesting study in body language here between coach and player, and certainly Klara Zakopalova just staring at the coach, getting the instruction of moving on.
Well, the sort of player that is, and that we've watched in a couple of matches that we've been calling here, I thought Zakopalova might have gone back at him or might have had a bit more of a conversation. But, I mean, she's calm, and let's just see if she takes on board. But Muguruza getting great depth, very composed.
Zakopalova serving at love 3 in the second set. And doing what she likes on that second serve.
These are all the perfect returns of when you're hitting the ball early, nice out in front. To hit that off backhand, it's more difficult. Things really aren't going your way.
That's the change up from Zakopalova. As we mentioned, she's in the final of the doubles. This is something different, a chance to get into the net.
Well, it wasn't the pace that hurt Muguruza there, it was more the depth.
She's serving with the breeze. That's the power that Muguruza can generate, continually moving forward to really attack that backhand. Really dangerous time now for Klara Zakopalova. Muguruza with a break point to go to 4-love.
Go cross.
Yeah, not going with the safer shot.
Some of those ground strokes must be skimming the net by millimetres. Breakpoint opportunity here for Muguruza.
Went for it again. Went cross this time, but just trying to give it absolutely everything. I guess when you're in this position, 3-love up, break point to go to 4-love, you can do that, but still need to have some sort of control.
Yeah, well, you've got to make it, really.
Stretching again. Double-handed backhand volley. It does take one hand off the racket to get a bit more across the court. Another break point. Just crushing the backhand. Muguruza heading to victory. 6-4 and 4-love.
Muguruza needs 4 games to love.
As we saw in Sydney last night, Peronkova coming through qualifying and beating Kerber. A great match last night. Nice. That's a sign of a player who's completely in control of what she's doing out there.
And also frustrating her opponent. The confidence is down from Zakopalova, just trying to come up with some answers.
Well, Zakopalova looks like she's trying to hit winners, but can't hit winners because of just the sheer force of ground strokes from Muguruza.
Latched onto that one okay.
Well, Muguruza, I think, thought that was a fault. Not that she would have got the ball anyway, but...
Very nice forehands. Zakopalova trying to work her way into the set. I guess the other element is Muguruza's playing so well, but she's in her first WTA final, a chance of winning her first title. Getting close to the finish line. Maybe get nervous getting towards the end of the match.
That's the forehand some of the time that she doesn't swing through. It's a good second serve.
Break point for Zakopalova. Get on the board in this second set.
Well, Zakopalova's just trying to hit and hope right now. And if they come off, great. If they don't, this set's going to be over pretty quickly.
Going for it again. Game point for Muguruza. It's wide. Muguruza cruising to victory in the final. 6-4 and now 5-love in the second sets. She's played a lot of tennis, Klara Zakopalova, and did say at the end of her matches yesterday that she was feeling a little bit tired.
Yeah, I don't think that that's probably had anything to do with an indication of that. Today she's just come up against a player who's just been playing fantastic tennis all week and has got the maturity when it did get tight to stay calm and think about what she's got to do. I dare say there's a few tears in that towel right now.
Time.
Well, an emotional Klara Zakopalova is coming out to stay in the match. Garbine Muguruza, 5 games to love, and this was at the change of ends.
Last 15.
Muguruza hasn't dropped a set all tournament. Now just 22 games for the whole tournament she's dropped. And just 2 points away.
This is just a terrific display of consistency, of keeping your emotions intact for someone of 20, being in your first final of a WTA event, to have this composure. I think this lady's going to have a very bright future.
That's better. Zakopalova making a stance. Trying to put a little bit more pressure on Muguruza.
Match is not over yet.
48-30. Yes.
59% of first serves into play for Zakopalova, winning 46% of those points, 42% on the second serve. Too goods. Too quick around the court. What a way to bring up match points. It's the first drop shot from Zakopalova that we've seen.
Well, it's kind of been tough because there haven't been too many opportunities for Zakopalova to actually do a drop shot because the depth from Muguruza has been phenomenal.
1 hour and 8 minutes on court. I don't think there's much apology there.
No.
Just going for it again, Zakopalova. It's been inconsistent. And always was in trouble. That backhand up the middle of the court. Another match points. Now she just gets back into it, Zakopalova, and has an opportunity. She'd be making a lot of first serves in this game, but again, Muguruza stand and deliver. Another match point.
Oh.
And there it is. She's the rising star on the WTA Tour, and now she has a title to her name. Garbine Muguruza, 6-4, 6-love, 1 hour and 10 minutes on court, and she's the 2014 Hobart International Champion. A perfect tournament, hasn't dropped a set, coming through qualifying, and that is a complete performance, a complete tournament. And she's a very happy player. And this will be the first, I think, of many WTA titles to come.
Well, certainly a well-deserved winner. Played faultless tennis throughout the whole, really, week and a half.
And here's the double faults. Third for the match for Zakopalova, and a terrible way to end things. But just a dominant display.
Well, it was really an indication of the pressure that Zakopalova was under throughout the whole match on the serve. Didn't get a good serve in with the depth. There were these ground strokes that were just coming back so quickly.
And the confidence that she can take into the Australian Open. She plays Kai Kanepi first up.
And plays a lot like Garbine does.
But must be loving her chances at the Australian Open. So we're not too far away from the presentation. And a word on Klara Zakopalova, another final for her, as we take a look at the stats here. But the key one, look at the first serves won and second serve points as well. A lot of them were just crushed by Muguruza.
Exactly. It was just a great serving display from Muguruza, and then all over the second serve of Zakopalova. And the depth from Muguruza, and it was very difficult for Zakopalova.
Well, she was a little tight to start, but that only lasted a game or so, and then was just able to get into that natural flow. And once she's in that rhythm, she's a great front runner, and it's very hard to make that change. So we're ready now for the presentation. Garbine Muguruza winning her first WTA Tour title. Matt Richards is our MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we can please put our hands together for two fantastic athletes from the WTA Tour and a fantastic final here at the 2014 Hobart International. It's been a fantastic week here in Hobart all week and a picture-perfect day. But if we could please make welcome, firstly, our dignitaries here for today's presentation. Firstly, the Premier of Tasmania, the Honourable Lara Giddings MP. The President of Tennis Tasmania, Philip Bowden. And representing the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor of Hobart, Mr. Ron Christie. before we make the first presentation, I'd just like to welcome the Premier of Tasmania, Lara Giddings, forward to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much, and everyone. Very much a congratulations to Garbine and also to Klara. Thank you both so much for putting on a wonderful sporting event for us here today with this finals on such a glorious day here in Hobart. To Tennis Australia, thank you for your support. Tennis Tasmania, you've done a wonderful job yet again. Philip, you can be proud of the team that you've got here, and particularly Mark Handley for his work in coordinating this event over this past week. I believe this has been one of the most successful, so well done, Mark. As the government, we're very proud to support this event, but more importantly, the sponsors, the private sponsors who help this event be put on now for some 21 years. Thank you very much to Marilla, particularly for your sponsorship, but to the many other sponsors as well. This event couldn't happen without you. And to the spectators, thank you, Tasmania, for coming out and supporting this event. We're very privileged to have what is an international event right here in Hobart in these beautiful surrounds, these wonderful facilities that we have. So thank you for supporting it. To the umpires, to the linesmen and women, to the ball girls and boys, thank you. To all the other volunteers around who help make this such a smooth event, thank you for all that you do as well. I'm looking forward to handing over the trophy for this year's Women's International Final event, and we'll see Garbine's name there alongside some of the best in the world who've played here in Hobart. People like Justine Henin, Kim Clijsters, Serena Williams, others who have been here, and we'll never forget our own Alicia Molik when she won this event as well. So it's been a terrific tournament. Thank you so much for all that you've done to support it, and to our players, of course it wouldn't happen without you. Thank you for coming to Hobart, and we wish you all the best for the Australian Open and for the many tournaments you'll have this year. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Lara. She had a fantastic week this week and will feature in this afternoon's doubles final. She was aiming for her third WTA title today, unfortunately fell just short. But can we please, Lara, if you could come forward to present our runner-up trophy for this year to Klara Zakopalova of the Czech Republic.
To congratulate Garbine because she played amazing and she have a big future in front of her, so well done and good luck for Australian Open. And thank you very much for coming out today, and thank you for your support, and I would like to thank all the sponsors and all the people who make this tournament possible. And one more thank you to my coach who was supporting me whole week here. We are in the final, which is not bad, so thank you.
Well done to Klara. Now, I have a feeling today's WTA singles title will be the first of many for Garbine Muguruza. She won her first ever WTA title in doubles last year at Hobart. So Hobart is going to have very happy memories for Garbine Muguruza. And we'll invite Lara to come forward again to present this year's 2014 Hobart International Women's Singles Trophy to Garbine Muguruza of Spain.
I'm so happy. I cannot explain with words how happy I am. First of all, I want to congratulate Klara also. She played amazing. She did an amazing tournament also. And also my coach, he supported me so much this week. I want to thank him a lot. And also all the people who made possible this tournament, all their sponsors and the people who organized everything. They did a big effort. And I'm really happy here in Hobart. Last year I won my first WTA title in doubles and this year in singles. So I don't know, I'm in love with Hobart now. And thank you very much.
Garbine, a lot of the crowd aren't aware, but you had an amazing start to 2013, and the second half of the year was finished with injury. You must be so proud to start 2014 on such an exciting note, your first title.
Yes, I'm really excited. Last year I was injured for 6 months, so for me it's incredible to be here. This is a present for all the effort I've been putting in the last 6 months.
Now, a lot of the crowd wouldn't know, you're only 20 years old. You must have started tennis at a very young age. How did you get into the game, and did you play any other sports growing up as well?
No, I started to play tennis at 3 years old. And since then I love it, and I just keep on playing and playing.
Well, we love having you here in Hobart. We hope to see you next year so you can come back and defend your title. It's been a pleasure having you here and can't wait to follow you next week in action at the Australian Open. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank and congratulate once again Garbine Muguruza of Spain.
Yeah, it was an excellent performance. $43,000 the winner's check here, and 280 rankings points, and it means again in Hobart we haven't had a dual winner, a player winning more than one title, but it's great to see Garbine Muguruza winning her first WTA title, and it's here in Hobart. We'll be back to wrap things up from the Domain Tennis Centre in just a moment. The first WTA title for Spain's Garbine Muguruza, getting through qualifying. An emphatic 6-4, 6-love victory, 1 hour and 10 minutes. It's a title she will remember for a long time, Nicole Bradke, because she was just fantastic from start to finish.
Well, your first title's always your first special title that you've won, and it's going to give Muguruza terrific enthusiasm and confidence going into the Australian Open next week as we take a look at some of these set match highlights, and a lot came from Muguruza.
He really settled into a rhythm nicely after maybe a few nerves in the opening game or so.
Which is understandable because it was probably one of her closer sets that she's had to play. So, you know, she had to just tone it down a little bit, not pull the trigger too early in the rally. And that's the first set winning at 6-4. And then everything seemed to happen off both wings for Muguruza. A lot of percentage of first serves in.
And Klara tried a few different things in that second set, threw in the drop shot, tried to get into the net, but anything she tried was just didn't work, because it meant that Garbine Muguruza was in such a strong rhythm and so quick around the court here that she was just in complete control.
Well, Muguruza just did everything that much better than Klara Zakopalova. I think the biggest difference was the serve throughout the whole match. Just so many free points there from Muguruza. And then the depth of the ground strokes.
Let's have a look at the stats for the match. And high percentage of first serves into play for Garbine Muguruza. She'd be pretty happy with that, 61% of the points. fewer on the second serve, 47%, and certainly for Zakopalova, that percentage is quite low. The second serve was always going to get attacked. Took her opportunities, 6 of 12 break points came up through the match, whereas Zakopalova 2 of 7. So it was a complete performance from a very deserving champion.
Yeah, it was a terrific, and like you mentioned, she won the doubles a year ago here and then comes back and wins a single. I only hope that she plays doubles at most of the tournaments that she goes to. Just doesn't limit herself to playing singles, because I think that's going to make her a more rounded player and a better player in the long run.
And certainly players who have won this title have gone on to do some pretty good things at the Australian Open, generally winning a couple of rounds, and it's just great momentum that she can take on this winning streak through to Melbourne, where she'll play Kaya Kanepi first up.
And that'll be a tough match for Muguruza, but you know, she'll be going in with lots of confidence. Will either play on Monday or Tuesday, so she'll fly down to Melbourne tonight after she does all this press. And good luck to her. It'll be definitely looks like a lovely lady, and it'll be someone that deserves a lot of success. And I think we'll be seeing her name in lights quite often throughout the year. It's
been a wonderful tournament here in Hobart. Record crowds coming through. The weather, well, wasn't the greatest to start off the event, but it's been fantastic since then, and it is a wonderful venue, and certainly the spectators have had a wonderful time across this week. We have a first-time winner on the WTA Tour. It is Garbine Muguruza, her first WTA singles title. 6-4, 6-love over Klara Zakopalova. And it means we move the Tennis Roadshow to Melbourne Park. We're not too far away from a start in the Australian Open. It's a wonderful 2 weeks, and certainly a lot of people in Tasmania will be looking at the performance of that lady on your screen. Garbine Muguruza, first-time winner on the WTA Tour. She takes the 2014 Hobart International title. 6-4, 6-love. That's just about it from us at the Domain Tennis Centre. Thanks for your company, and we look forward to seeing you again next year.